always easier to start with the song, with the chant. Yeah? Amito for everyone. Thank you for coming back or joining just this morning, Sunday morning. How precious. So we waited a little bit because I was told that people usually, take a bit time arriving on Sunday morning. Just now, I started with Amitofo before the microphone worked. And then the chant I did. Did anyone recognize what that was? Tumu, green Tara. Yeah, I started with green Tara because we are going to Bhutan. Dale du dale du le soha, right? And the Tumu is what? Everybody is familiar with the story of Tumu. Tara, the tear of Guan Yin, Avalokiteshvara, right? When Guan Yin, this is how I explain to kids. She's so compassionate. She saw the suffering of the world. So many sentient beings to reach out to, right? So despite the hands, the arms and eyes been manifested already, still too many. So she had that drop of a tear of compassion, right? But then from those tears, there came actually altogether 21 taras. But those two major tears, one is the green Tara, the other is the white Tara. White Tara representing health, longevity, whereas the green Tara actually is the leader of all. Why? Because she symbolizes action. Actually, Buddhism has been a very active, like we have to take actions. Yeah? So I'm starting with green Tara and also Guan Yin too because I believe it's Guan Yin Pusa and green Tara that have taken me and Frank over to Bhutan throughout the years. And I'll tell you why. I'll share with you why. Okay? So I use the, Bhutan, interesting translation. Bhutan, just transliteration, right? Bhutan, and then the Chinese character there says 相信, Bhutan, believe. And that's the second poster. Yesterday, you saw the first poster. Different one, I'll show you again. But this is the second poster. Why? Somehow, a week before this talk was given back in Taiwan, the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas have brought me supporters. There was a brother artist. He also does, meditation and then singing bowl and ritual dance. So he offered to join to start, the talk with the opening dance. In the old days, before the Buddha gave his teaching, there were chanting. There were dancers. There will be like those devas, heavenly beings trying to offer the Buddha, right? So, wow, it was such an honor to have some ritual. It's very ritualistic. Okay, so this brother came to join. And also another singer, a pop singer in her young days. She was with the Coco, at those time. And then she married. And then she started her Buddhist practice. So now she also does chanting. She also wanted to join. And because I believe, this class is, about ritual and belief. I believe that everything will be fine. So I said, oh, why not? So she joined. So our volunteer poster designer, did the second poster. In the beginning, there were not that many who have signed up. After the second poster, so many want to come. Very interestingly. So that's why I kept saying, this age, diversity, very important. So I embraced that. And then we managed to gather 108. We have 108 seats all filled up. Okay? And then there was also because the Tibetan is a Vajrayana tradition. I practice in Pure Land. My shifu is Pure Land. So you saw these, slogans, the more recent slogans. How many of you went to Bhutan? Raise your hand, please. Among us. Okay, all right, quite a few, good. But you are not so familiar with this slogan or flag. Why? Because they did not come out until after the pandemic. Okay? During the pandemic time, Bhutan really suffered a lot, like everyone else, right? But then also because in any case, Bhutan was trying to also bring people back. So they have this, they use belief. And we want to, show you Bhutan. Yesterday I mentioned, for those of you who were not here, I'm bringing in Bhutan because we talked about ritual. And Bhutan is where ritual really is a living, a way of living. It's an everyday life thing in Bhutan. All right. So we are going to Bhutan. Also, it's they say the very last Vajrayana kingdom. They say, or last Shankarita, or last Vajrayana kingdom. So for that reason, we also go and see, and then we can do a little bit of comparison in a way along the way. So usually it's through also observing the other, we start to reflect upon ourselves. We learn more about ourselves too. Yeah. So many Bhutan believe, right? Can you even tell that the last one here? What does it? Thunder. Thunder. Yeah, it's like and also has more to do with it's mountainous, right? No ocean, right? It's a mountainous country. So thunder, the clouds or thunder dragon. And Taiwan surrounded by the ocean. So more the Hailong Wang. Very interesting, yeah. But then Frank is saying that, the thunder dragon and ocean dragon, they have different ways of doing things, okay? I always say, But anyway, belief is belief, okay? And the idea is that we always try to, we respect the belief, right? Okay, next. So in Bhutan, you see all the images of the dragon. Even the flight is what? Druk air. And when you go into the flight, you also see a lot of abstract presentation of the dragon. Anywhere in Bhutan, you see dragons. All right, so this is the first poster that I showed you yesterday, right? But I used this poster also to show you the three main sites, main events. So this is like in Thimphu, downtown Thimphu. This is the Buddha Point. For those of you who have been there, the Buddha Point, I'll show you again. Like this is the stadium right in Thimphu Center, the largest venue to hold most important event, including the National Day celebration. And this is in the street. Well, because part of this Bhutan Global Peace Prayer Festival includes the very last part, the Bhikshuni ordination for Vajrayana, for the second time already. But for the very first time, historically, they brought the monastics into the street to do alms round. I'll tell you more about it. Here, the Buddha Point. You saw the photo in the poster like this, right? And then I'm showing you the Buddha behind this altar. And this is the Buddha Point before this altar was set. And you can see me. This is a photo taken by my Bhutanese students. They really believe in magic. They try to make their own magic. In one picture, I was able to manifest in two positions. I don't know how they did it. They were just using their phone. And then, teacher, run now. They hold it, and then I ran to the other side, and then do something different. So they took this, and they found that to be very magical. But they made the magic, right? So this is a Buddha Point, and we are very happy, very honored to mention this. The Buddha Point was actually all the funding came from where? Most funding came from Singapore and Taiwan. Singapore and Taiwan, I was told very clearly. The Singaporeans and the Taiwanese Buddhists have made this Buddha Point possible. And now if you go to Bhutan, from every corner in Thimphu, you can see the Buddha. Very lovingly, okay? And so this is the main altar in the Buddha Point, where This Global Peace Festival have the so-called 400 offering. I'll explain more later. And Frank and I arrived on November 4th. As mentioned, it's a 16-day long festival, 16-day long. So they really put their ritual, their belief into action. And we were brought to this Buddha point immediately from the airport. Okay? So this is the altar you see in front of the Buddha, and see how huge they look. And the people were all out. The Bhutanese really, they would be lining up. We were taken there directly in a car because a lama, a lama was driving us. So we got that green pass over. But for local people, they have to walk all the way from the foot of the hill. And they have to line up day and night. Even when we left the Buddha point in the dark already, we still saw people in long line trying to go up just to go pay respect. It's very touching to see how rituals are realized. Okay? Okay, so, and this is the second venue, as I mentioned, the stadium, right? Fully packed. Yeah? So many people wanted to come to this. Even if they cannot, they will be watching on their iPhone, their phone. Yeah. Okay. And I actually was invited. You can, if you are interested in reading about it or seeing more images, I encourage you to check it out online. It's that it went spiral, all the images, the videos. But I was invited by Hong Kong's Buddhist store to write an article in Chinese for them because they say, oh, you are there, and then not many Chinese-speaking, Buddhists are aware of that event. So I was requested to do that, and I did that for them. So this is my article for the Buddhist store, but there are many English medium articles for sure. And this is like, my second article is going to appear at the Dhamma Drum Mountains Humanity magazine as well. They also want to learn more about the Bhikkhuni's ordination. Okay? All right. So for those of you who have been to Bhutan, how many went for over 2 times? You were there only once, yeah? We were there 6 times. Lucky us. None of the time we had to pay the daily visa fee. We would have been like broke a long time, back, right? But we were there always on mission, all right? So we were there to Bhutan for 6 times, 2013, 16, 18, 22, 24, and 25. This most recent time, 25, right? Our first time there was to assist with the International Bhutan Nuns Conference. So as mentioned, for those of you who were not here, as mentioned, I have been a long-term volunteer for Sakyadhita, Daughters of the Buddha. Okay, so it's the International Buddhist Women's organization, and we run conferences every 2 years. And I was there for 20 years. And when I was the president for Sakyadhita, we were requested by Bhutan Nuns Foundation to go there and then to bring in the bhikkhunis, to bring in the fully ordained nuns from countries like, Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, where we have the full ordination lineage, to go participate in their international conference. So that was my job. So I tried to gather many, nuns from different countries to join that particular event. And this is the director for Bhutan Nuns Foundation, Dr. Tashizamo. And then you recognize this, yeah? Jasuma Tenzin Pamo, the British nun, who did her retreat in the Himalayan mountains for 12 years. Famous one, Cave in the Snow. That is the book. A journalist interviewed her and wrote into a book in many languages, all right? And that's one of the founders for Sakyadhita, Venerable Lekshe Tsomo from the United States. And in front of me, this is lady looking so elegant. Who do you think she is? The Queen Mother. Yes, the current queen is the younger one, right? And this is the current king's mother, birth mother. The fourth king's wife, the third wife among the four sisters that married the fourth king. Sounding very complicated, right? It took me quite a while to really figure that all out. But in any case, this is the birth mother of the current king, the fifth king. And she would tell me how very special the king, the baby king was. Never really, interrupt her. So like very well behaved and very responsible even when he was a child. Very special, interesting to hear a mother, Queen Mother, talking about the baby king. Yeah. So it was a privilege meeting her. But anyway, so it was 2013, way back. No, he was already the king. Yeah. The fourth king renounced very young because he was already the youngest king when he became the king at the age of 16. He was the youngest king of the world when he succeeded the throne from his father, who just suddenly passed away in Africa. So he had to take on the responsibility since that young. And when he reached the age, I think just 50 or something, he gave that throne to the son. But the son is really doing a great job. And of course, the father king is there to support him. Yeah. So it's everywhere you go in Bhutan, that's why you see two kings. They still have images of the two kings very often, right? And so I was there, Frank and I were there 2016 again, because it's the very first so-called Vajrayana International Conference. Bhutan is trying to open up too. So the Vajrayana Conference, we also were invited to be participant for the first time. Second time, 18, second Vajrayana Conference, we were there. I was one of the speakers there already, okay? And we were there again, 2022. And 24, 18, also 18. I was there not only just to participate in the Vajrayana conference, but also to bury one very important seed for Bhutan's Bhikshuni ordination, because we brought this nun, this Bhikshuni, Venerable Heng Qing. I wish she's still around. I would have requested our Bodhisattva brother William to invite her. She's the one who made it possible for you to be searching the Buddhist texts online, the Mahayana Chinese Buddhist texts. She's the one who initiated the digitalization of Mahayana Tripitaka. Okay, she was a professor at National Taiwan University, and she retired as the emeritus professor. Very special, maybe the very first and perhaps the last one to be teaching in robe at this most privileged the most prestigious university in Taiwan. Yeah. But she's very, very cool. She told me, she's like my mother. She was born in the same year as my mother. So I always regard her as one of my spiritual mothers. The other spiritual mother is Tenzin Palmo, the cave in the snow, because they were all born in the same year. Interesting, right? So I feel like, I have three mothers to me. And this Venerable Heng Qing, she was ordained in the United States by Xuanhua Sangren, right? The Dharma Rim in California, one of the earliest monks to be teaching in the United States. And when she decided, she's determined to go for further Buddhist study. So she went to Wisconsin Medicine, where when the Dalai Lama, His Holiness the Dalai Lama visited, she went upon his request to discuss the potential, the possibility to establish or bring back the full ordination for nuns in the Tibetan tradition. So way back, it was back in 1982, she told me. So it's years of work with a very firm belief you have to do it, and it's possible. All right. And this Venerable Heng Qing, when teaching at the university, she told me, because she's enrolled, right? You know what she said? Her first sentence, usually upon walking into the classroom, she would tell the students, please do not think that I will not, F you. I will not, how do you say that term? Flunk you? Don't think that I will not flunk you just because I'm a nun. Be careful. All right. She's a very strict teacher, but very compassionate. You can be strict and compassionate. Yeah. But in any case, she was there with us. She carried the results of the, years of research. She was also invited to serve as the advisor to the Western Nuns Committee. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, with the wish to bring back the full ordination, he funded a committee with the Western nuns, including Venerable Thupten Chojen. Okay, so all of these senior Western nuns were there with her as the advisor. They continue to discuss, to study, and at the end, they have come up with a manual, bilingual manual in English and Tibetan, all the Q&As about Tibetan nuns ordination. So she carried that with her. And also, of course, all the USBs, the digital file. We went to meet the Queen Mother, and we also went to many, many nunneries. We tried to spread those, Q&A answers to the potential questions. So that has also planted a very important seed for the event this time. Okay. Okay, full ordination. Okay, very good question. Thank you. Stop me anytime if you have questions related. So for us in the Buddha's tradition, for us, we are laity, right? For lay people, we become Buddhists and we see 5 precepts, right? And once you want to join the monastics, in the beginning, you take 10, usually. That's the seminary, the novice monks and nuns, seminarica. But if you wish to become fully ordained, you have to take, for monks, 245 or 250. Yeah. So the different traditions may vary a little bit. 250 for nuns, 350. 350. But keep in mind the so-called precepts. In the Buddha's time, he didn't say that, oh, you are not supposed to do this or do that. The Buddha never really prescribed the so-called precepts. It was in the context of something that, something bad that took place, something that happened. So the Buddha would say, okay, so from this time on, my disciples should not do this or that. So the precepts are in the 3 Tripitaka, right? Those are the rules that we live by. Okay, so for nuns and monks, they have to take that many precepts to become fully ordained. It shows their, they want to vow, it's their vows, precepts, right? And for the monks, no problem. In all 3 yanas, Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, we have the so-called bhikshus, fully ordained monks. But then for bhikshunis, the Mahayana Chinese has it, which we got it way back in the 4th century from Sri Lanka. That's the Theravada, right? But then the Theravada lost it because of wars, because of, all these, famine. So they no longer had the nuns, full lineage. But think of it as probably natural if it has to do with belief again, because of this gender thing, gender inequality, right? It's a social, cultural belief, because when it is believed that you can get more merit by offering to the monks, you don't really go offer to the nuns. When it comes to those crisis time, eventually the nuns all went out. And when Sri Lanka also lost their bhikshu lineage at one time, but they went to Myanmar and Thailand to bring back the Theravada bhikshu lineage, but they did not remember to take but they never had bhikshunis anyway, at that time. So in any case, it's a long, complex history in terms of bhikshuni ordination. So only the Mahayana Chinese, we should be proud. Yeah, we managed to preserve that bhikshuni, ordination. So that's why the Vajrayana is very challenging for them, because in Tibet is so far away from everywhere else. And for the nuns ordination, it takes at least 10 monks and 10 nuns to give them the full ordination. Whereas for the monks, it takes just the monks. There is no ordination. Before her, Venerable Heng Qing, she was a fully ordained nun. She's in a Mahayana tradition, so no problem with that. Yeah? The Vajrayana tradition, yes, there was no full ordination for the nuns in the Vajrayana. That's why they are called Ani. Ani actually means auntie in the Tibetan language, just auntie. Okay. Sometimes language really have to do with how you show respect, but sometimes people forget. Yeah. Vajrayana. It's only taking place the second time last year. The first time it took place was back in 2022. I will mention a bit further. Yes. In the past, it's true that you cannot receive full ordination in the Vajrayana tradition because it doesn't exist there, right? That's why Venerable nuns, Western nuns, like Venerable Tenzin Palmo, and also Venerable Tibetan Children, they have to go to Taiwan or Hong Kong, somewhere, in the Mahayana Chinese tradition countries to receive that full ordination. But now Bhutan has started that 2022. That was the first nuns full ordination, 2022. And this one that, we went again, 2025, which was an event embedded in the Global Peace Prayer Festival. And even as its climax at the end of the festival within this 16 days. So is that part clear? Okay. Very good. We move on. Okay. So I mentioned that 2022 was the time we went to Bhutan again. And I said in the very beginning, I sincerely believe is the Guanyin and the Green Tara that have brought us over there. Why? Look, this very handsome young man. Imagine his title. I had no idea when I met him, but later I realized he was the chair of the National Council of Bhutan. Yeah. This is the background is in Vietnam, Hanoi, 2019. We were invited there to participate in the UN VESAC conference. Okay. And he was invited as a closing ceremony keynote speaker. But I actually missed the closing ceremony because I decided to stay back in the hotel to have the Zoom meeting with my committee members, Sakadida committee members, planning for our 19th conference in Sydney. You know why I had to stay back in the hotel? Because the Vietnamese government, they really consider this UN VASA conference very important. So they wanted to host all the participants. They want to give them the best treatment. So they put them all in the 5-star hotels in Hanoi. But the conference venue, they had to build it a new one in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a lake. It's beautiful, grand, but it's so far away. Every morning we have to take off 7 o'clock a.m. already and escorted by the police, local police, passing through, like all the motorcycles, so many in Vietnam, right? Cars, motorcycles have to wait there, and then they see, the bus is going through with all these distinguished guests. And it took 2 hours minimum. to reach the conference venue. So very, very exhausting. And they would have the like national level cultural performances until maybe 10 o'clock with all the local people participating too. So by the time we reach back to the hotel, 11 maybe, or by midnight we'll be happy. And then the next morning again. So after I did my presentation, I told Frank, and no Wi-Fi there yet because 2019, it was a brand new venue. So it was not so accessible to the internet. So I decided, I think I have an important conference to plan. I didn't go. So I didn't recognize him. But why did I come to meet him? Miracle, really. The Hilton Hotel 5-star, when I was doing my Zoom meeting, somehow I started hearing tick, tick, tick. What's that? Tick, tick, tick. Some water dripping sound. So I turn around. Cannot be. It's really wet in a carpet. Really? 5-star Hilton? So I had to call the manager. Can you come and take a look? So she came up. She said, so sorry. Let's change your room. Okay. I said, I'm too lazy because we would check out tomorrow morning already, right? They said, okay. So allow us to fix it. So of course, sure, please, feel free. And then she brought the technician with the ladder. And as the technician climbed up to the ladder, removed the ceiling, waterfall. So the manager, her face turned green immediately. Not green Tara, but green, really. She was so sorry, you really have to change room. I said, no, please, I'm too lazy. Don't bother, And I said, really, to compensate your loss, why we fix this? Would you like to go to the VVIP lounge on the top of the building? It's reserved only for state guests. So you can have your meal, dinner up there, not to go to the crowds. Tomorrow morning, also have your breakfast there. Okay, all right, we accept that. Okay, I'm saying this not to, but just to show you the miracle. I'm not saying anything bad about them, okay? So please don't worry, okay? But in any case, we went up there. And of course, I see, we've been to Bhutan already. We saw a few men in short skirt. We recognize from Bhutan. But he was not. He was in his just ordinary shirt. So how would I know who he was at that time? So I try very hard to Google my Bhutanese. How do you say hi? I forgot already. 2019, my previous visit was a year ago, right? So very quickly came back. Kususampola. And I happened to see a man, familiar face. It's one of the parliament member that I had lunch or dinner with the previous time in Bhutan. So he recognized me too. So then he connected me with this young council head. And the following day, after breakfast together, I saw how the Bhutanese were really trying very hard to prepare their tanka. They brought all the way from Bhutan, huge, beautiful tanka in scroll. They wanted to present it to the Vietnamese government, right? As a gift for their hospitality. Tanka, good question. Tanka is like the painting of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas in the mural on a piece of cloth. Okay? Very good question. Thank you for stopping me. Always ask question, no problem. Okay? So beautiful tanka, they always put in the temple, but then there are smaller ones they carry around. When they travel, they want to be able to do their ritual, to do their chanting, whatever. They would put the tanka out. Very convenient. Right? But in any case, they have the huge tanka as a very precious gift for the Vietnamese government. So I saw them and then I was reminded, I have a tanka too in my luggage. So I went back to bring out my tanka. It's the Taiwanese modern tanka I introduced to him with Avalokiteshvara there, painted by Master Hong Yi Dashi. our Vinaya master from the Chinese Mahayana tradition. I'm sure you heard of him. He's very famous for the calligraphy, right? He was so talented, right? He's a very famous literati in his time already, but after he became a monk, everything simplified. So the way he wrote, he simplified everything, but that became a style. In Taiwan, so many people are imitating this style. Okay, so here it says, entering all treasure of wisdom, saving boundless sentient being from suffering. And a very simple stroke of Guan Yin. And my artist friend, the cloth maker, he printed them and he packaged them very easily like this, just a small package, stylish too. So when I said, oh, I can bring this everywhere to give to very important friends, right? So when I presented to him, here, brother, the Taiwanese tanka, modern Taiwanese tanka. And he was very happy. He said, oh, you Taiwanese are clever. So I did bring this to many, many important people, contemporary important people, including Pope Francis. I presented to him back in the Vatican City. And I told him, this is Maria manifesting in the Orient, in the Eastern world. But of course, I said, this is Guan Yin, and then he really appreciates that. It's so beautiful, he said. Yeah. So I believe that it's Guan Yin who also brought us to the Pope. And I even made it to the head news in the, headline in the Vatican news. Somehow we made that very special connection through Guan Yin. We had a picture also, I don't have it here, but we were like laughing out loud very happily. Okay, now, Bhutan. So this brother, this young, handsome looking brother, during the pandemic, we continue to stay in touch. And near the end of the pandemic, before it's like all lifted, he came to me and said, sister, do you know, any experts? Actually, I should mention the second miracle to you before I move on. The first miracle is this waterfall, right? Remember? Second miracle, I would have to tell you why we stay in touch. Why? Because that morning we were all checking out and he was checking out first. After he packed that into his luggage, he was about to leave. So he said, sister, you know what? I'm going now. And please do not bother to see me off. There'll be so many people seeing me off. And that's a protocol. You don't want to waste your time like that. So I said, oh, okay. And then he asked me, so what floor do you stay? I say 10. So the two of us went into the elevator. We went down together. He pressed 10. I saw that. I said, oh, thank you. And then lobby. And so we continue our conversation. But when the elevator door opened, it's red carpet. Lobby already. Okay? So, of course, I don't want to stay there. I had to walk out with him, right? So the two of us were walking out together. And there was a Venerable Jing Yao, the head of the Buddhist Association in Taiwan. Venerable Jing Yao came to say, Christie, is that the king of Bhutan? I said, no. But then, of course, I had to introduce both of them, right? And then there were many Indian friends of mine, many Buddhist friends, because we've been like going through all these different conferences, international conferences. So I was like introducing her to this brother, young brother. So he had the impression that, oh, my sister knows everyone. So when Bhutan was ready, the king was ready to invite international experts to Bhutan, my brother remembered me. So he approached me and asked, sister, can you introduce some international experts to me? So I said, oh, I really want to go too. But he said, what can you teach? I say, language. I'm a linguist, right? So Frank and I became the very first couple of Chinese language teachers in Bhutan. So they flew us in. We didn't have to pay for the visa fee. Our tickets were covered. The king even gave us an apartment, 3-bedroom apartment to stay in, and a driver. So fortunate, right? So very much blessed. Thank you, Guan Yin. Yeah? All right. So we were there. This is the kind of photo we could only take in Bhutan. Yeah? And upon arrival, it was September 28th. I'm not the one who is very sensitive to receive signals like friend, long antenna, no. But I always look back. When I look back, September 28th, that's a very important day. We still celebrate it in Taiwan. It's the Teacher's Day. It's the Confucius birthday. We celebrate that as the Teacher's Day. So I arrived on the Teacher's Day to teach. Lovely, yeah? And originally, we only promised to teach for 2 months maximum, because we didn't have time over, those 2 months. But eventually, somehow, we stayed for 3 months. The day we left, December 21st, 21 Tara. Again, that's my belief, connecting, yeah? So anyway, we were in Bhutan. And so 21, I made a vow, I made a commitment. After leaving Bhutan, I gave 21 talks. And the moment I decided that, okay, I'm happy to do 21 talks, introduce my experiences in Bhutan, one invitation came after another. So I was there introducing Bhutan from northern Taiwan to southern, from the west to the east, in universities. Okay, secular university or Buddhist, like Tzu Chi University, also invited me. Or companies, private companies also invited me to talk about Bhutan. People wanted to know about Bhutan somehow in Taiwan. They want to be happy. Okay? So many talks I gave. This is just one of them. I also gave talks in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, Buddhist Fellowship. That's where I saw our Bodhisattva's name up there as one important donor too, yeah? All right, so the young people in orange uniform, these are our students. They are the so-called Desu, guardians of peace. Here, in Chinese, I call them 和平守护者, guardians of peace. They soon program, but in terms of the people, they say they're soup. They are volunteers to the king, to the nation, especially during the pandemic time. They follow the king to deliver water, to deliver food to the family in remote area. Bhutan remote already, but there are even more remote areas where no roads lead to them. So they had to walk by days to deliver food over there. So it's a very special king, I would say. Anyway, so they are in this orange uniform. These days, they really find this program very useful for Bhutan, because the volunteers were there also to help with road construction, building bridges, and even for Fa Hui, the pujas, they were there to keep order. And this time, for the Global Peace Prayer Festival, they were there throughout the time, keeping order, facilitating. They're just wonderful volunteers, a beautiful, beautiful system. So they are now expanding that to the high school students. But in any case, these young people, for many, they're, maybe tour guides who lost their job during the pandemic. So they work for the king, and the king really felt there should be something done for them in return. So he wanted to invite international experts to train them, to give them some skill training. So we were there to teach Chinese, but we were there to teach Dharma Chinese. Okay, Dharma Chinese, terms associated with the Dharma, especially they will receive guests from the Mahayana Chinese tradition, right? Also from the Theravada tradition. So I want my students not just familiar with just the shopping terms in Chinese, not conversational Chinese only, but especially for Dharma Chinese, yeah? These are the best students I've ever had. They are all so kind, so wonderfully, they live in the campsite. This is the venue where the royal guards are trained. All right. So this is the classroom in orange too. Bhutan is very good for branding. The orange is their branding color. And the students do everything for us. Yeah, they're the one taking care of the water. They are volunteers. And I remember mentioning the driver. This is our driver. This is the photo from the first day. So every time our driver took us there, and the first day I had no idea where the classroom was. So the driver had to take the lead. But following that, it's always the students waiting at the parking lot. Why? To receive us, to help me take the bag. All right. And at the end of the class, the students will send you out and then to close the door, the car door for you. Yeah. So these really are very kind students. So every morning before we enter the classroom, we'll be doing hand swing exercise. Ami Tofo, Ami Tofo. I thought that, went together very well. So they really enjoy doing that too. So they pick up Ami Tofo. All of them, if you go there again, they will say Ami Tofo and Gan okay? Look how beautifully they write. I wrote this first line here. And they just copy. This is the Chinese character they wrote. Amazing, huh? So beautiful, huh? And I mentioned they do everything. My students do everything. Even they prepare the cake for each other's birthday. The teachers didn't have to, the teachers were there only to teach. And I also show this picture because in the back, look, Ni hao, hello, right? It's easier to see that one. And then here, which? 哪个 where 哪里 why those were posted? Just because I say one thing. The earlier evening I say, Bhutan, you don't speak Chinese. We don't have the Chinese speaking environment. You don't have the images of Chinese characters. It would be nice if we put for table we put 桌子 椅子. The next day I went into the classroom. They pasted everything there already. And they even extended to, January, February, how do you say that in Chinese? And they say, teacher, please check for us. They're very spontaneous, very proactive students, okay? And right next to our classroom already is a temple. It's the Fourth King's temple. And we always go to the temple. In the temple, if you are in Bhutan, in the past, you were told not to take any photos, right? We were the group that was given the privilege. Yeah. So here, this temple at the corner, this is a standing Shabjong Rinpoche. This is the Rinpoche who founded the Bhutan kingdom. And he was believed to still alive. And they put the body in Punakha, the old capital city's zone, the temple. There's a special shrine that has kept him inside. Only 3 people got to go into that shrine. The 4th king, the 5th king, and another Rinpoche that served Shabjong, doing puja for him, serving him tea, food, whatever. That's the belief again. Okay? So nobody else sees Shabjong. And that Rinpoche later, I will let you know later. Very interesting Rinpoche. Anyway, so this Shabjong statue, this statue here, standing Shabjong, is not seen elsewhere, only in the 4th King's temple. And it is, again, believed he would speak. He talked to the king when the king had questions, had decisions, important decisions to make. A Shabjong would really speak to the king. All right. And also, of course, in addition to the temples we visit, and we also do some field work, students always come to the class. They don't miss classes, except for 2 things. One thing, is, teacher, tomorrow there's a very important puja. Can I go? They have to go to the Dharma gathering. They wanted to go to the Buddha point, a huge puja there. They want to go. So I said, I want to go too. But no, cannot. Yeah. So I said, sure, it's okay. I respect your belief. And you just have to make up your class. That's all. And a second possibility is, teacher, tomorrow I cannot come. My grandpa expired. Do you also use that verb here? Expired. The body expired. The spirit, yeah, consciousness goes on. So the belief is there. So my grandpa expired. So there's a family puja. I have to go. Tomorrow I cannot come. So those are the two occasions. Or if they got really sick, they cannot make it to the class. So very, very nice students. It's not moving. Oh, here. This is the graduation. I said that the students did everything, right? They even prepared the Bhutanese robe for us, the dress. They prepare. And that morning graduation, they came to our apartment. All I need to do is like this. They dressed us up because we didn't know how. Like Frank, he had this scarf here. It kept falling off. So they had to, make it right. Yeah. Like this, like, I'll teach you. All right. So like this is the photo before the graduation. And here the graduation, the king came. All right. Look, when the king was like chit-chatting with us. But then when it comes to the group photo, there came this carpet. We have to all step down. Only the king got to stand on the carpet, special. And I'll tell you the importance of this carpet later on too. Okay. But anyway, these are all students, including ours, but also in a class where this friend, this teacher, we became very good friends after this ceremony. This is a German living in Switzerland. And he was there to teach what? Guess. Entrepreneurship. How to start your business. Lovely, yeah? So there's also like Thai language teacher, French, Japanese language teacher, but then there are also like teacher there to teach them how to cook or to do construction. All right? All right. So in addition to our classes, we also try to maximize our time, right? Visa fee, very expensive. So Frank would not allow me to sleep. He keep me out every day. We can go. Let's go explore Bhutan. All right. So we will be going like everywhere. And this is a 1D zone. This is a zone. The zone means temple, but not just temple, because in Bhutan, the zone is a place that the monastics, would do the puja there, but also the government officers work there. So it's a combination of these two systems. All right. Very interesting system. But this zone, in any case, is a rebuilt one. It was burned down 10 years ago, and they rebuilt it. It took them 10 years to rebuild because they wanted to go for the most traditional way of making the temple. So we happened to be not too far away from the zone. And then I got a phone call from my brother saying, oh, so sorry, sister. I got so busy. I have no time for you. Remember, I said Bhutan is the place where rituals do live, even for their parliament sessions. They start the parliament session by doing puja, rituals. The Rinpoches have to go do the purification, to bless. And at the end of the parliament session, they also have to do dedication of merits. That's how they really carry out their belief. But in any case, when my brother called me, sister, where are you? I said, oh, I'm in Puchika. Oh, that's only 1 hour away from where I'm going tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going from Thimphu, capital city, escorting 21 taras to the new temple. So before they inaugurate this, they bring taras into the temple first. I said, now I'm hearing the calling of the green tara. I will go. So the next morning, we went to join. We waited there for a long, long time because along the way, people wanted to pay respect Like in Taiwan, you heard about the Mazu craze. That Mazu will be patrolling and people all want to touch it, and then very much interesting, very similar to Taiwan's Mazu. So this is the Tara that finally reached the destination. We were there waiting for 3 hours already. Okay. It's not working very well today. This one. Oh, here. This is the beautiful green Tara. The Tibetans say they look slightly different from the Tibetan style. But in any case, this is a beautiful temple. And we escorted the Tara together. See, this is the back of me and our brother. And then Frank also got caught. He was taking a picture, but he got caught by another photographer. And we were very happily privileged to participate in the local puja. You're familiar with the term, yeah? You also use the puja term here. But in any case, this is the Green Tara Puja. We participated. Yesterday, one young brother came to ask me, oh, he's not here today. Anyway, he was asking me, so interesting, in Mahayana Chinese tradition, we do the bai, we do the offering, right? In the Dharma gathering, you don't share the food right on spot. It's their offering to the Buddha Bodhisattvas, right? So you offer, and then maybe you pack the food back home. That was it. But during the local Bhutanese puja, when you do the puja, you chant, you offer food, and then you share. You start sharing already. So whether it's ritual cake, whether it's candy, whether it's whatever, they would move the food, and then it would taste. The only thing I could not take is what? Guess what? Betel nuts. It's a very important offering in Bhutan. Betel nuts, binang, the one that you chew, right? They have to keep warm up there. Also, betel nuts in Southeast Asia too, even still in Indonesia, is regarded as a very precious food offered to VIPs. Okay. So we were there enjoying a lot. It's very lively, like you chant, and then you have this kind of like ritual. You take turns. I think again, it's symbolic. You are bounded, as a community. Okay. So we stay there until, like the National Day. This is the same venue. As I mentioned, the stadium, right? The National Day, we were there. We were invited, together with the other Desu teachers. And now again, about belief, nothing, we don't want to say mysterious or superstitional. No, let's forget about those terms. We're talking about belief. Belief is belief. They were all so much in order. They would start lining up before dawn to enter the stadium. Bhutanese are like that. They would stay, like this global peace prayer festival too. Imagine 80,000 people, right? So you really have to line up. They even spend a whole night sleeping on the ground at the stadium only to wait for the next day's event. They do that all the time. But in any case, like right before the king came out, they call their king Druk Gyalpo. Druk, Long Wang. Gyalpo is king, dragon king. Okay? Before the king came out, there was this sudden change of cloud. And very interestingly, again, belief, I'm talking about belief. There was this interesting, and then all of us there felt like, oh, the temperature, the temperature has dropped a little bit. So I could see people like trying to keep their coats, like jacket clothes, yeah? And then at that time, Frank turned around. Frank said, "Did you hear?" I said, "Hear what?" "Did you hear? Hear what?" He said he heard the thunder. We don't know. Nobody else did. He heard. Okay. We respect the belief, yeah? Okay. We also went to this beautiful Pojika, beautiful valley. In the back is the Ganden Monastery of Bhutan, yeah? So very clean because zero negative pollution, right? And beautiful forest preserve. So Bhutan belief has been the theme, not just at the airport, throughout their life. See, I mentioned our students would see us off every day. It's Monday through Friday, whole day program. And they will see us off happily, when it's time for us to leave. They will carry our bao, they carry our bag. And the students, what do they do when they are not in class or when they are not volunteering? They're still volunteering. This is my student. He sent me the photo. He was there helping the practitioners building their retreat house as a volunteer. Okay. All right. So we have only 2 girls. I don't know why. But in any case, very interestingly, like 2 daughters Frank has adopted, and I have adopted 10 sons. Okay. So back to the Global Prayer Peace Festival. As I mentioned, 16 days, right? 16 days of events, 4 major events. Look, you can look at them here. Actually, all building around the king's birthday. The 4th king's birthday is November 11. So they wanted to celebrate the king's birthday. So they want to come up with something. They already have the experience of the Vajrayana conference. So on that basis, they expand. They managed to put everything together within 3 months. It was a bit chaotic. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but eventually it all manifested beautifully. All right. So the Buddha Point is where this is taking place from November 4th to 10th. They have the Buddha Point, puja. Same time, simultaneously, in the center of the city is this Monglam Chenmo. It's a global peace prayer festival for international participants, especially. They bring in not just the Vajrayana, masters, but also Theravada and also Chinese. Very interestingly, they want Buddhists to come all together in Bhutan. And this Kala Chakra took place after this, major event, global peace prayer, international chanting time from November 12 to 14. And that was done by their J. Kempo, the head monk. We did not participate in this one because we took off to Eastern Bhutan to do other, to meet other nuns, nunnery, to do charity there. We carry donations entrusted to us from 3 major Taiwanese, nunnery and the Sanghadana Foundation, and also Bhikshuni in southern Taiwan, a friend. So they gave us money to carry over to Bhutan to do the dana. Okay. Today it's acting a bit slow too. All right. So in the Buddha Point, where you saw earlier, the Buddha statue in front of it is a huge, this. How do you call this? I don't even know. I don't even know whether there's an English term for that. But in any case, they put, it's a very special ritual that try to get rid of obstacles. It try to help you get rid of, any obscuration in your life. This is the largest one, in which this is called the 400 offerings. So they have 4 major items, each 100 of them. All right. So they have the ritual cake, 100 of them, 100 lights, lamp. All right. And then also 100 like this. This is the like a doll, right? Representing the different walks of life. They put different dress on them. They are there to help you lengthen your life because they represent you. So if anything bad is to happen, they will take care of it. Very interesting, huh? So again, it's belief. All right. But you want to give them things, offering, or a lot of them carry a small bill, money, because money is very precious to you. So you give to them. All right. Again, practicing letting go, offering, practicing letting go. That was what I was also told back in Bhutan. Bhutanese Rinpoche was telling me that, oh, you give the money because it's something that we all like feel most attached to in this modern life, yeah, mundane life. So they are dolls wearing in Bhutanese robe and in also like this, and they are representation of all walks of life over there. Okay. Yes. Oh, okay. This is the scarf, yeah? We call that the tanka, and then this is hata. Yeah, hata, kata. Some say kata, some say hata. And these are the piece of cloth that you offer to the Buddha or Bodhisattva to show reverence. Or also, when you meet these highly realized practitioners like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, some Rinpoches, you offer and they receive your respect, but they will put on your shoulder in return as a way to give blessings. Yes. Yes. Yeah. The Tibetan tradition, Bhutan, basically, when we say Tibetan tradition, actually, it has to do with the geography name, right? And Bhutan received their Buddhist influence originally from Tibet too, although they say the Guru Rinpoche, right? Traveled from India, and the Bhutanese believe that the Guru Rinpoche has visited Bhutan first. That's why there's tiger's nest and, but that part of history, that's not, worry about it. But in any case, they are all in the Vajrayana, the tantric tradition. All right. And those are the places where materially, not as, resourceful. So this offering, a piece of cloth, rather than something like jewelry, right? In Mahayana Chinese tradition, or the royal family would give out their jewelry when they build a stupa, when they build the underground digong, right? Underground palace. They all give out their jewelry to participate in that kind of events. In Bhutan, this piece of tanka can be affordable for anyone, any, Buddhist followers, right? Including like something like the strings in Theravada countries too, also like blessings. They carry the blessings, symbolic too, and also has to do with belief. You have to believe in that, right? That's how it works. Any other questions? Yes. Thank you.
Christie， 你帮我解释一下，就是这个400供400这个的 offering， 我不晓得说大家对不丹的历史有没有关联，背后的我这个文成 princess，
Okay.
We strongly believe 这个文成公主对they bring他不仅 not only the married to 这个他的这个不丹的国王，还有这个带了一群的 Taoists to come 不丹，所以 that about the 400供also there is a 12 zodiac animal 12生肖。
OK。
所以我们可以看到很多马哈亚纳的 Buddhism， 其实它跟中国的这些文化很有关联。那不单它是在 Tibetan 里面特殊有那个星象大学，就是这个很多的这些喇嘛他们都会做怎么讲呢？应该叫 fortune telling。对对，所以你会觉得有点 confused。事实上 ，that is original from Chinese， 这个它的 culture 跟 philosophy。那这个400供 not only this 的这个道 ，also the 12 animal。所以我们在马哈亚纳里面常常讲到这个冤亲债主，就是他透过这个一种形式 ritual， 把你的 karma to 转换出去。所以
Got it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Frank wanted to remind me to mention, the cultural contact between China and Tibet. So the Tang princess, Wencheng Gongzhu, right? Wencheng Gongzhu was married to the Tibetan king, Songtsen Gampo. And together with Wencheng, Princess Wencheng, actually traveling with her were some Chinese Taoist monks. All right. So very interestingly, they also brought in a lot of the Chinese medicine, Chinese astrology to Tibet. And then Bhutan, in turn, also received these influences. And in Bhutan, not because that's the only kingdom, Vajrayana kingdom, they have their autonomy, right? So they have the astrology college. And they do a lot of divination. But how do you explain that? Is that superstition? Well, these days, we hear a lot of the quantum theory, all right? Sometimes when you are really not sure, you want something to help you settle your mind, and the belief is helping you. They do the divination. And again, it's whether you believe it or not. But whatever works, why not? From my perspective. All right. So Frank was reminding me also in this 400 gathering, he saw images of the 12 animals in the Chinese zoology. Yeah. And then, these dolls were there, as I mentioned, to also help you lengthen your life because they now represent you. They try to take away your obstacles through these chanting, through these puja, through these offerings. Okay, so he mentioned a term, 冤亲债主. Again, it goes back to the belief that, we have rebirth, right? In the Buddhist system, life after life, we never know what we did in the past. Maybe we have done runs to some people and they are not happy with us. In the Mahayana Chinese tradition, we do repentance. And in the Vajrayana tradition, they have a lot of these obscuration reading pujas, 除障法会, doing exactly the same thing. Because after all, Vajrayana and Chinese Mahayana, they all belong to the Mahayana, doctrinally, same Mahayana. And the fact that why we are doing this, also because we remember it's not just us. There are sentient beings who were all once our parents, our relatives. So we have to keep them in our heart and mind too. Does that make sense? And this Global Peace Prayer Festival, I have all the links here. I'm not going to show you. Technically, it's a bit complicated, but I will give you the QR code. If you're interested, you can go and see all these links. What I wanted to mention is that look at this. Umbrellas. Very, very shiny day. Beautiful weather, but so shiny that, you get really burned. If you are down there for so long. For the VIP guests, we are privileged to go to these tents. But for the monastics and local people, this is the way the Bhutanese, very creative Bhutanese, came up with. They created these beautiful umbrellas, flowers blooming. So it looks really beautiful. Not just on site, but also like the photos here. It's that they all become flowers, very much like the Huayan, the Avatamsaka, idea, yeah? Flowers all blooming here. And in the center is the center altar. So the international monastics would join here to chant in different languages, like I mentioned. Even in the Vajrayana, they have the different schools, and they bring all the major masters of these schools to chant together. All right. And then there are Pandits from Thailand, from Myanmar, from India. They also came here to chant Pali together. And then also there are the Chinese speakers who also chant together as well. In the beginning, look at this. This is how they advertised with all these big figures. These days, very important to have the name celebrity figures, right? Many important, figures that are sure to come. But like Mingyu Rinpoche couldn't make it. They put it here, but then he couldn't because remember, within 3 months, they put this together. Some, famous figures, they already have programs scheduled a year beforehand, right? And the problem with this presentation, it got criticized actually in the beginning because all men. It's all men. So there were some critiques in the beginning. So maybe that is why this Bhikshuni ordination also became, focus, spotted. It's, we have this Bhikshuni ordination. So we are not really being unequal. But in any case, they put in one female here, at least. So they invited Jasuma Tenzin Palmo to come, but Jasuma Tenzin Palmo said that she already, promised to come to the Bhikshuni ordination, so she's scheduled to arrive later. She couldn't participate here. 16 days. Who has the time except us? Now we are full-time runners. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. They really want to come to the puja. Even I mentioned here, there was this 90-year-old grandma who wanted also to be there on spot. So her daughter was carrying the mother on the back. Yeah. And in line. And so everybody was like trying to make way for the daughter to carry the mother over to participate. It's a beautiful scene. So many people wanted to be there. And the elderly were saying that, I don't know whether I'm going to be still alive tomorrow. So I have to be here. So again, we are all belief driven. Yeah. And this is where you meet people. Conferences, yeah, the puja. I was there meeting the Malaysian brother and the Chinese, a new Chinese friend, and then a Kempo also from Australia. So you meet friends. Yeah, this is where we are brought together. And then you never know where you are moving to next. Because then this Australian Kempo said, do you want to join us to meet a very important Rinpoche? I said, oh, who's that? No idea. And then we joined them. And it happened to be this Rinpoche, the second to the J Kempo in Bhutan now, I was told, Namkhar Ningpo Rinpoche. I have no idea who he was. But very interestingly, the year before this event, Frank and I were also in Bhutan. We made it to Buntang, eastern Bhutan. We were taken to his temple. And then we were told, oh, so sorry, Rinpoche is now in Taiwan. So we missed him, but we were brought to him right there at this gathering. So I say Bhutan is a place where your karmic force speeds up. You don't know. You don't know where you are, taken to. And then anything happens so quickly. And that's what I got reminded. The moment you have that idea, it really makes it happen. You better have good ideas rather than bad ideas. Positive one rather than negative one. You are 起心动念. You have to be very careful. You have to be very mindful because the fruits comes very quickly in that so-called Buddha land. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Here, see, this is where you meet people even at the gate. Does this figure look familiar? Anyone? I was like, oh, hi. And then we just chit-chatted. And then a younger Taiwanese sister was standing by. And when he left, the sister said, who was that? Looking quite familiar. I said, oh, that's a PM. Prime Minister. They are very low key, really. Yeah, the officer, the Prime Minister. You can just chit-chat with him at the gate, yeah? And I also met with a good old friend. This is the very first congresswoman in Bhutan. But she retired from the Congress. She's now like the state secretary or something like that. I have no idea about the importance of his position now until later, I was told. And she invited us to stay at her apartment last year when we were in Bhutan. So very interesting. Oh, we met here. And also I bumped into who? Now we recognize by this time. The Queen Mother. Yeah, I just saw her following the fourth king, the fifth king, and she saw me too. She was looking at me. I was looking at her. I said, Christie from Taiwan? And I said, and then we just hug and then shake hand. Yeah, so that's where we met for the first time during this event. And we were there on missions, right? In addition to this mission to participate in the festival and also the later Bhikshuni ordination, as I mentioned to you. The very first time we visited Bhutan was for Bhikshuni ordination. But in this case, we also have some side missions. Like I said, this is where your karma speeds up. We got this call to assist with the Taiwanese group who were kind of not sure where to go. They had no guide. So Frank and I became their guide. And this, okay, now I'll tell you that story and then we can have a short break. This Rinpoche, who is blessing Frank here and also all the Taiwanese friends that follow us, this Rinpoche is the one of the three who is, who can see this Shabzhong, this nation founding Rinpoche body. He's the attendant to that, I mentioned, right? The standing Shabzhong, who is still believed to be alive. So why are we close to him? Because during the time when we were teaching in Bhutan, we also went to the Green Tara puja. He was the one doing the puja there. Also, I finally had a chance to communicate through our brother's translation. He doesn't speak English, so I had to use a translator. We saw him already earlier in the Vajrayana conference. And Frank was saying, Christie, you go take a picture with this Rinpoche. I look at the Rinpoche. I said, no, Frank, you go. Because he looked like your father. He really reminded me of my father-in-law, Frank's father. And Frank said, oh, yeah. And then Frank went to take a picture with him. That was a special karmic connection at that time, but I couldn't explain anything to him. Language barrier, right? But eventually we met again during the puja. He presided and I had that translator. So I told him, Rinpoche, you look very much like Frank's father. I said, really? And then we show him the photo of the father. And he was holding the father. He had a photo with him. He felt that too. Very interesting. So we have a very special connection with him right there. You never know. You never know. So when we told him that we are traveling with a group of the Chinese friends, he said, I'll come to meet you because it will be too late when we arrive at Punakha, his temple. So he came all the way to meet us, to bless all the, people traveling with us. Yeah. So we're very thankful. We also went to this beautiful nunnery in Punakha too. All right. Yes. All right. Yes. I think it's time for a short break. I said that we will have that break after this story. We'll come back later. Okay. So we had some ongoing discussions during the break. There were questions from online. For those of you who are online, I'm so sorry. I'm not able to really take good care of you from here. But in any case, especially for those who just check in today, today's topic, why Bhutan? This is a continuation of yesterday's discussion. Okay. So yesterday we pretty much covered the Mahayana Chinese rituals, and we had some tentative conclusion. And yet today we move on to Bhutan because Bhutan is where ritual comes alive, where belief is put into practice every day on a daily basis. Also because there was this huge this global Buddhist Peace Festival that just took place last year. It's a huge event in the international Buddhist community, something that I feel that, we can share and also use that as a reflected point as a comparative point to talk about the Mahayana Chinese as well. As I mentioned, it's usually when we notice the other, observe the other, that we discover more in our own tradition. But there was a burning question I want to come up with first, which is also related to Bhutan this time. The burning question was about, is it really true, about that those like puja for the death 49 days or even like 100 100 days, you also still continue to pray the ancestor thing, right? Whereas in the Buddhist tradition, you say, 49 days. Is there any basis? But if we talked about rebirth, there the ancestor already, got rebirth. So who are we really doing this for? Just recently, actually, there's a Bhutanese monk who was really making this claim openly, telling his Taiwanese followers. He was saying, if you are to do the ritual, if you are to do the merit thing for your deceased beloved one, 49 days, that's it. Don't continue. He said that. He said that because according to the Buddhist theology, but of course, the Buddhist theology was also asked, is that real or not? Buddhists, we talk about rebirth. Well, there were highly achieved, highly realized practitioners who had that power to see. So they mentioned, they shared that part of, like version and vision, and that was documented in the text. Okay, so, and you, again, as an individual, as a Buddhist, you believe it, or you can choose not to go for it. That's okay too. But back to the Bhutanese monk's case, he was saying that after 49 days, already, like in another rebirth, if you do anything more, it's like just kind of like irritating for them. It's like affecting them. He was making that claim. It's a very bold claim for the Chinese Mahayana, the Chinese culture, because the Chinese really, for thousands of years, we have that ancestor worshiping culture, that belief, even after 100 days. My parents, when I were still young, now these days they simplify everything. But when my grandmother was still with us, we have to remember all the birthday and the passing day of the ancestors. And we have to do a lot of offerings. All right. So there's some contradiction there, right? Especially after you become a Buddhist. How do you explain that? So this Bhutanese monk was making that, like I said, claim. You just stop doing that. He was telling us. But whether you want to do that or not, it's a personal choice, I would think. Really. Yeah. If you ask me, I don't have the superpower. Yeah, and I have never died yet. So I don't know whether you really exist or not. But I choose to believe that these highly realized practitioners, Buddhist practitioners, they went through, their meditation, deep meditation, the process. They told us the 49 days, 7 days cycle, it happens to coincide with the Chinese belief, be it Taoist or Buddhist. They are coinciding. They must say something. Yeah, whether as after 49 days, the culture still wants you to do that. If you have to do it, you do it. Sometimes it's a family thing, right? Sometimes it's a family responsibility. So that can be my answer to it. Okay? All right? I will move on very quickly and then we'll come back actually to our main theme. So don't worry, I'll come back. Yeah? Just now I was also reminded the Vajrayana Bhikshuni ordination only took place twice, second time in Bhutan, but Theravada already revived, right? By Ajahn Brahm. So I was reminded of that. Yes, he actually had to sacrifice a lot to do that, Ajahn Brahm. He was expelled out of the Thai Sangha. as a result. But he did not regret. He felt that he was doing the right thing. Again, belief. Yeah. So, not moving. Is this out of battery or? Yeah. Frozen. The screen doesn't want me to leave this picture, huh? Okay. All right. So after Punakha, we came back to Thimphu, and we went to visit the Bhutan Nuns Foundation to see how they were preparing for the nuns ordination. There, I bumped into the Queen Mother again. She said, "How come I keep bumping into you, Christie?" I don't know. I believe it's the Kuan Yin, the Tara's arrangement. So, and also the staff at the Bhutan Nuns Foundation was saying the Queen Mother never visited the office. Every time she came to the site, she was like checking this and that, and then she left. And they were surprised. They, like this time, the Queen Mother wanted to come to the office, and then she was surprised to see me there. But after we gave the donation, actually, they were running out of resources. Our appearance there was just like very timely, thanks to Brother Frank. I was saying, let's not go there and bug them, right? And Frank said, the dragon said, we go. So we went, and they were just running out of money. And I said, oh, here is the first portion of donation from Taiwan, from Venerable Heng Qing. Remember the nun? She passed away, but the nunnery that supports her wanted us to bring the donation because it's her wish to see the Bhikshuni ordination. She couldn't make it, so we went. So we were there, and then the foundation director told us, oh, are you leaving already? You know what? We ordered the very first Mahaprajapati statue in Bhutan, which is going to arrive soon. Mahaprajapati is the name of the Buddha's stepmother, the Buddha's auntie, actually. And she was the very first bhikshuni. She got ordained by the Buddha together with 500 palace women. And in those days, she requested 3 times. The third time, only in the third time, the Buddha had to say yes, because she asked that question. Can women also achieve liberation? Can women also be, the Buddha in the future? And the Buddha had to say yes. Same potential. All sentient beings, right? Why not women? So the Buddha had to say yes. But of course, that was used as a basis sometimes to exclude women, sometimes, unfortunately, in some past Buddhist history. But the Buddha did that for reasons. Why? Because in those days, when you join the Sangha, you had to go barefoot, you have to go back for food, you sleep in the forest. And who is Mahaprajapati? She's a queen, right? And the 500 women are palace women. Would they be able to do that? Can you bear that your mother follow you to do that? Of course not. The Buddha had to say no. There were reasons, right? So if we think about it, we understand. And despite those 2 rejections, Mahaprajapati and the 500 women they were determined. They were so brave. My gosh, they walk all the way barefoot, right? From Nepal, the kingdom, to Vaishali. That's where they finally got their ordination. How? With the very strong belief. They too have the potential. They want to follow. They want to pursue that life, right? So we are very connected with Mahaprajapati because when I was still the president of Sakadita, my very last conference as the president took place in Vaishali, in the middle of nowhere, of village in India, where there was no proper facilitation, but we did it, okay? So there, we welcomed the very first statue of Mahaprajapati to arrive in Bhutan, and I happened to have the kata, and I had 3 colors. So we dedicated the katas to the statue, and we were so happy that they remain with them. in ordination, we couldn't go in because we're lay people, right? The full ordination. But Mahapajapati was there to witness. All right? There, the three katas. So for me, it's like confirming my belief. Our beliefs needs sort of like confirmation. That's where I like strengthen. Okay, I will continue to move ahead. Yeah. So there's a clip, and I will give you the link to the clip. We were there welcoming Mahapajapati, and this is what we don't have in Mahayana tradition. This is where a lot of the misunderstanding came from. In Vajrayana, you have the shuangxiu, yeah? The men, women embracing each other. It's symbolic. It really is symbolic. All right? Whereas, it symbolizes wisdom and compassion. The women symbolize what? Everybody says compassion. Wrong. Wisdom. Very interestingly, okay? And then men represents compassion. So every time you have new finding, and then every time you reflect upon what you originally believed, yeah? Challenge yourself, okay? And very much similar to we talk about 性命双修. In the Vajrayana tradition, they also have those that very interesting, very similar belief too, which I won't go further. We come back to here. So during the Kala chakra, it has to do with time, okay? That Kala chakra ritual, we didn't say. We move on to Eastern Bhutan, where miracle happens again. We went to the Nyingma puja, and on the way back to Thimphu, we passed by Anandari, where the monk introduced us to the abbess. And then we found out the abbess, we did like the, dana to all the nuns first. But during the time they serve us lunch, we heard from the abbess that their, gongpa, their temple got cracks. They had to rebuild it. There was an earthquake. So Frank said, Sister Christie, no, more money from the southern, the southern Taiwanese nun. Take out the money, $6,000 we brought out because we heard they need to rebuild, yeah? So I offered that to the nun. And I told her, the abbess, I said, this is not from us, ourselves, but from this bhikshuni from southern Taiwan. Let me show you the picture. I show her the picture. She looked at the picture, and then she became in tears. She said, we've been looking for her. So funny, yeah? She said she even made a trip to Taiwan, and her, disciple too. Because they heard that she was sponsor. She's Mahayana Chinese, but she's so open-minded. She also helped the Vajrayana tradition. She especially helps nuns. So she said, we were looking for her, but we couldn't reach her. We lost contact. And you are here. All right. So anyway, we return to the ordination. Again, I said, Frank, let's not go, because the ordination, we cannot go in. It's not for lay people to witness. Okay. But then he said, let's go. The dragon says we go. All right, we go. And then when we were there, very coincidentally, we had that opportunity to have lunch with the preceptors, with all the preceptors. And after lunch, we were told, J Kempo is coming out. They don't know from which direction, but we just waited there. And when the J Kempo finally came out, Frank was in the right position to take a picture and also do a video. That video we can also go to later if we have time, or I give you the link. That video link, I think I'm not going to have this for the rest of my life. Look at that. That's an old record. 320, what is that? 32.9万, 329K views. 329,000 views at that time. Now 350,000. And 250 thousand likes. Sorry, different unit. Always took me time to translate into English. 250,000 likes in my Facebook page. A very short one, but in which I just presented the dana to the J Kempo, thanking him like Ajahn Brahm. Yeah, he's the one who took the responsibility. He's the one who said yes to ordain the nuns. And when many people still object that in the Tibetan tradition, so he has to be very, very brave. And that's the preceptors, and that's the money we brought from the Sanghadana Society in Taiwan. And I also met many of my friends throughout the Sakatita conferences organized, right? They also came for the full ordination. All right. And so the last highlight is this alms round, as I mentioned. After the ordination, they put the newly ordained bhikshunis to do the alms round for the very first time in Bhutanese history. We don't do that in Mahayana Chinese tradition, do we? Do we do the alms round? But only recently we start doing that too in some events. Maybe not in Singapore yet, but it's a Theravada tradition, right? A Theravada tradition, that you see the monks and nuns go for alms, but they had to really empty the street, the busiest street in Bhutan, in Thimphu, okay, the capital city. And we were there carrying the money so heavy. But again, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas sent two helpers, the monks, to help us count the money, carry the money, and we were there to give out dana. Look at that. This is the beautiful scene when they came out to do the alms round. People were lining up in tears. It was so moving. People were there, and then even for the police, the king and the queen, they were there doing the dana. It's a very symbolic thing. It's symbolic, ritualistic too. Ritual. You can consider that as a ritual. Yeah, when the top leaders were there to offer dana. And they came all the way to the end. The prime minister was there to do his own dana. And look, they were on what? Carpet. Remember the carpet that I showed you earlier? Only the king got to stand on the carpet, the royal family. All these high officers, government officers were just on the ground, right? So that shows the importance. It's a really historic thing. And Jasuma Tenzin Palmo was there, and we were there also just to do the dana, and many good friends, reunion here. The Jasuma was in a Zoom session telling everyone she witnessed even the police standing by in tears. Imagine that moment. All right, so I was telling you about Vaishali, right? That's a conference we did in Vaishali. Look, this is our conference site, a temple that was not even yet completed in the construction. We had to tend. Yeah, we had to tend. And that's the group that when we went pilgrimage. The pilgrimage continues just in December. This December, a group of the Theravada nuns from the States, from Europe, from Vietnam joined in Bodh Gaya again. And Lumbini, Bodh Gaya, they came all the way to Vaishali. Okay? So it's really, really, reviving. I'm sorry, here I'm putting Chinese characters again. This belief, faith, or trust, believe. Bhutan believe that it's an action. I use the active 相信 rather than just 信念. That would be a noun, right? If you go back to the making of the Chinese character, this part is people. This part means speech. Belief has to do with language. All right? It has to do with the people's language, and belief builds also the relation between people through language. Very interesting. That's the wisdom of the character already. So in the Mahayana Chinese tradition, we'll always hear this saying in Chinese. I'm sorry, let me say that. I'll explain to you. We say, 信为道源功德母. Xin is the basis of all merits. It's the mother of all merit. It's the source of all merits. If you do not believe, you won't even bother to make dana or create merit, would you? Right? So belief is very important, and it nurtures all positive practices. 常养一切诸善根. All right? And if you have the belief in karma, here comes karma already, believe in the causes, conditions, you believe in the truth, then you have the basis to move forward. And of course, a kind of belief is in karma, and also we want to have pure belief. When it's polluted, then we don't know where it leads, right? So when your mind and heart becomes clear, not confused, because of your belief in the truth, then you have the confidence. That's why we talk about 信愿行, faith, aspiration, and action. They are all linked together, but the basis is 信. You gotta have belief, right? 信愿行. And 信, actually, it's not just the Chinese or the Buddhist system. In Christianity, you talk about faith a lot, right? We have 信 and then 望, you have hope and you have love, right? Without faith, without belief, you don't have hope anymore. You gotta have belief to have hope. And then there's hope, there's love, and when there's love, you sustain, you manage to continue to move forward. And my personal interpretation would be, if you have that belief, then it can settle your mind. You have something to anchor, right? And when you're anchored, then you can be happy. So this is why Bhutan, I think, this is why they resort to that Bhutan belief to explain why it's the happiest country. But are they really happy? Up to you, whether you believe or not, right? Of course, Bhutan has its own issues to deal with. Even though we think it's a Buddha kingdom, even though we think that it's the happiest country, it's a mundane, it's samsara. It's samsara after all, right? So young people, are having a lot of conflicts too. No job, so they have to leave. They go to Australia, but the king is trying to figure out something, hopefully to bring people back. Yeah, so we are all on the path. And last, I want to show you what the Huayan Avatamsaka Sutra or Langana, Leng Jing in the Mahayana Chinese system. There is a phrase, 唯心所现, 唯识所变. It's your mind. Because of your mind, you see all these manifestations. And it's because of your consciousness. Your consciousness, you change everything. Your consciousness changes everything you see. Look at that dragon in the clouds. This is a very quick photo I took in flight, flying towards the Himalaya. I just mentioned to you that Frank believes in the dragon. I'm kind of affected by him. Okay, dragon. Guan Yin Pusa also rides on the dragon. So we are doing that 龙套, 跑龙套, okay? We are running the dragon's errands. The Guan Yin Pusa wants us here, there, the Buddhas, things that we can benefit the people there we go. All right? So look. The dragons is having a conference. Dragon King here, big. And look at all these small dragons around him, really as if they're having a conference, right? when I show this photo, the Geklosi abbot. Send to me. He was so happy to see this photo, yeah? And this is a huge tree, right, in front of the astrology college in Bhutan. This tree was believed to have grown out of a cane, of the founding Rinpoche's cane. Again, it's believed. How big is that? We have to, I think it took about 20 people to surround it. Huge tree. And you can take a picture of this QR code. All the links that I put in the slides are there, including the 90-year-old mother on the daughter's back to go to the puja and, my encounter with the Jay Kempo. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we move back to our core slide. Yeah, yesterday's. Yeah, that's yesterday's. And next. All right. So time to debrief and open up that dialogue again. So yesterday we went through, right? The parts of the Chinese rituals. Actually, we didn't explain what 水入法会 is, the procedure or anything like that. We just tried to be very analytical and we went through that. You had your group discussions in which I was very happy to see that everybody was really engaged and expressing what you observed. And you raised some questions. I hope you feel that you get some answers. If not yet, if you would like to bring up some more questions, that's okay. And so a little time for you to reflect upon what you have experienced since yesterday. Any shift in yourself, like what you believed and what you think that you want to choose to believe? Or did you perhaps gain more understanding about the so-called rituals and belief? Or any more burning questions if I didn't answer them yet? Yes, please. Let me pass. Oh, okay. Thank you.
What do you think about this? Annually, they will release the fish into the sea. Is this ritual belief?
Yeah, that's a very complicated one. Yes. This 放生, I actually originally also put it in my PowerPoint slide, but then it's not, limited to the Mahayana Chinese, although I believe that it started from there, Mahayana Chinese. But then now the Vajrayana also does it. And Thailand, I saw a lot too. Theravada also does it somehow. So there must be something they feel, very beneficial in doing that. 放生, releasing life, right? But there were controversies. Yeah, lots of controversies, even back in Taiwan. Where do you release them? What you release is that, are they going to fit into the ecosystem? Some were found to be releasing fish from the inner water, inner land to the ocean, right? But if we go back to the original meaning of 放生, 放生 is you want to set free of sentient beings. So again, it's kind of symbolic. You set the constrained life, the animals or the birds, free. You give them that freedom. And in a way, you are doing dana. It's merit creation, right? You make merit by releasing life. It's 功德. And also you feel good about it. And it's a reminder of liberation as the final goal, right? So if you believe in the original, meaning, the purpose of it, in terms of 放生, also there were criticisms about how you go to the market, you buy them, you set them free, and then the businessman caught them again and then sell the same birds to you or fish to you. I don't know, that could happen. But, again, you cannot be in charge of that many things. You cannot control it, right? So personally, it's also used as a way to create merit. Like I know for people who have some big Buddha Dharma events in Taiwan, I also MC the birthday concert for the Dalai Lama, for example. I was requested to do that, and before the concert, the group is habitually they will go 放生 in ocean with the Rinpoche's chanting for these. They don't just 放生, they will be chanting for these, suffering beings and then let them go free, right? It was believed that that would help also get rid of obstacles for the upcoming event. You make merit, you get rid, and so I just sadhu, yeah? Okay, that's good, yeah? It's a matter of, again, belief. When it comes to belief, really, I don't think we want to, be too personal about it. Yeah, it's just, okay, they do it. And then they are happy about it. And they feel settled. They know it's going to be a success. Why not? Right? Whether they are taking into consideration about the right place to do the release or where to buy, I believe they have the wisdom. Or if I happen to, to have that condition to share anything from my understanding, then I would do it. That's how I will answer a question. Okay. Yes. Bodhisattva.
A lot of temples, you'll find that their regular chanting and rituals are getting less and less popular because for two reasons. Number one, those who participate who are 60, 70 years old normally,
yes,
they don't have the time or the energy to continue.
Right.
And then the younger generation, they cannot participate or has less participation is because I think three reasons from my observation. Mm-hmm. Number one, they have more variety or interests compared to the older generation. So they have got all kinds of non-Dharma interests to occupy their time. Number two is they don't understand really what is the meaning of all those rituals. That's why we organize this. But yes, I think we did not go deep enough to explain the purpose of 早课晚课 and all the various rituals. So if they don't understand the purpose, there's no meaning they participate just to be there. And number three, I think all these rituals are always not in English. So, people like me, we attend the Sri Lu Fa Hui, we attend the Yanko. I don't know what we are doing, but because we believe, as you said, you believe, you are there.
Right.
So you'll find that that's going to continue in Singapore. And I wonder what should the temple do? Should we encourage such activities? So when you say you want to encourage such activities like all these rituals, you must solve the problem of telling the younger generation the meaning. And that's going to be very difficult because the monk and nuns who are involved in such rituals, they can't explain. I don't know in Taiwan, how is it like? What is it like in Hong Kong? So if they cannot explain, that means it's going to be a dying, it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
And my warning is, these are the programs that bring money to temple.
Yeah, true.
All the temple in Singapore, very frankly speaking, if you don't have all these programs, I don't think they can survive.
Yeah.
So can you imagine if they cannot survive in a few years' time, the young people not attending because it's no more interesting, they don't understand. You can't get the monk and nun to explain because they're not educated to explain. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. So the worst is, even you want to try and organize program to explain to the younger crowd, there's so much of engagement. Like Sunday, look, it's less than Saturday number of attendance. Because this morning I went to a breakfast at I don't know what you call it. It's at Holland, it's a breakfast, and you'll find that young men, just married couple with a child, they go for breakfast. These are the people who want to come to attend because they want to be their child on Sunday. What I'm trying to say, there's so many activities.
Too many to choose from.
So then on the way to what they call a bread talk. On the way to bread talk in Holland Village, passing church, wow, cars and cars of young people entering the car park to attend church. So it is a huge problem, and there's no way. I think any way we can solve it except to organize talks like that, which is in English. It is a headache. So my point is, and so should we encourage more understanding of ritual just to, I don't know, how to encourage. It is so difficult. Then, another question is, in proper temples, they have monastic to have a morning prayer, we call it 早课, and then evening prayer, 晚课. Then there are people who say that these are, if are these really necessary? Why can't you put a glass of water in front of the Buddha? Doesn't that work? Buddha don't need you to do 早课 and 晚课, right? So, but from my personal experience, I have with understanding all this is one day, I think I repeated this story before. There was in this temple, there was, in the old time, where the old abbot was still alive. That was maybe 20 years ago. There was chanting on this Sui Lu, on the day of the Sui Lu. No, Yanko, the chanting the whole day on the 7th moon. And honestly, I don't know what they're chanting because my Mandarin is horrible. And then they chant. So then they have rest time like now. You ask the people to go on to rest. Then I walk to the altar. I look at the sutta that they're chanting, and it's in Mandarin. I also don't know what they're talking or what they're chanting. Then as I was looking, a monk passed by. The chanting monk passed by. He asked me, "William, what are you looking?" I said, "What they chanting? What's the word?" That's what I learned. The first word was, "Thus I heard." In Chinese. I said, "Oh, that's what the Buddha is teaching." Actually, they're just chanting in their own lingo, just as the Christian chant Hebrew, what the Jesus is teaching. So in this case, what the Buddha is teaching. Then the question is, why are you chanting in front of the Buddha, what the Buddha is teaching?
Very good question.
Very good. And the answer is, I learned in the process, which I think is better you answer. And learning it's really interesting. Firstly, you remember when the Buddha passes on Nirvana, the monks were gathering and they were reading, reciting, and everybody is in words. Is remind themselves what they were taught. They were taught by the Buddha. But more superstitious, I will use superstitious, or more unexplainable is actually around the temple vicinity. There's always beings, good beings, sad beings, happy beings, and for them able to hear the Buddha's teaching in all this chanting, it will bring them happiness. That's what I was told. It sounds so logical. Sounds logical. Not necessarily logical, but sounds logical. Then my question is, then why don't you read in English? Because If you can read in English, I will understand. Right? So we'll be attracted by people are very chonton, you know, he come my house, when he do a food offering, English. Wow, what she say, I understand. But you bring a Mahayana monk or nun to my house, and when they good food offering is in language I don't understand. So it's a headache, you know. So all of us are responsible to solve all this. I don't know how to solve it. I only can say I organize teacher to speak, but I cannot pull the horse to drink the water, right? If people don't want to come and listen, it's headache. So I don't, Taiwan, how are things like? I don't know.
Thank you for sharing a Bodhisattva's worries.
It is a worry. Yeah. It's implying, you know. Yes.
I think we have I've attended a couple of Dharma classes and in English, because I can only understand truly in English. But the majority of the participants is 60 and above. We don't seem to be able to attract the younger generation. And I was trying to influence my niece and nephew, and they asked a question I couldn't answer. That's why I was even simple thing like, why three joystick? A simple thing as that, which we have grown up in that without questioning. But right now they are questioning the why. And I don't think there's any place even to explain the basics. So I'm always worried in that sense how to continue Dharma propagation.
It's true that language is one key. Yeah, language barrier, and then explanation. Are you able to explain to the question in the past? Actually, we grew up not asking because we were not encouraged to ask at all, and we were obedient enough, right? Just in the Hokkien dialect, there's an expression: "Gina lang uhi bo tsui." Children can only have their ears, no mouth. It says very explicitly, you are not encouraged to ask. So I think that's a big issue. If you don't understand, how do you believe? The belief won't go strong, right? And I hope, for example, through our discussion this weekend, now you can explain to your niece, your nephew, at least a little bit. At least they get a taste of what we are doing, and they might be more willing to follow or to discuss with you their questions, right? And back to our Bodhisattva's question, of course, you are concerned about how to sustain this system. I think it's a worry share, not by all. We are losing the younger gen, all religions, even not just Buddhism. We need interpretation that of our time. We need to pass on the teachings in a way that the younger generation can understand, they can follow. That's exactly why in the PowerPoint, I put, like modern spiritual insight. You have, of course, a traditional, original, meaning, right? Associated with those rituals. Yeah, they must mean something in the first place. They must be believed for what they're good for. But then, as it passed on to the modern time, we are in a different environment. The Buddha is not here. If the Buddha were here, Buddha would be reinterpreting, I believe, in the language that we understand. Even in the Buddha's time, the Buddha encouraged his disciples to go and teach in the local dialect, not in the so-called standard or official language at all. So the Buddha's teaching managed to spread so far and wide because, this was really practiced in the local language, understood, and that's how it's practiced. The younger generation really needs more guidance, mentorship, companionship. That's my observation throughout my 20 years of taking care of the college students and my observation around. But not to lose 信心, confidence. Why? Of course, I know William as someone very responsible, worrying about how this will sustain and then where the money comes from, right? Right now we have you to count down. What about for the future? But you know what? If I may, I use this example. Sometimes you need to just provide opportunities for them to experience in the first place. What you are doing is really good already, even though we don't have that many youngsters who want to come. Well, yesterday we had, right? We had, the young, and they were very happy. They were telling me that we're so happy to hear what you were saying. Not only we dissolve some questions and we now even have even better understanding too, right? So those are two very important C's to start with. And here we have all these wonderful, wonderful listeners, so attentive. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As long as we breathe, we continue to breathe, then you are the Bodhi seeds, right? You are the Dhamma seeds. And then you are able to answer the question to the youngsters. And just one more minute. And like in my days, as I mentioned, I became a Buddhist in Hawaii. I really doubt whether I would even become a Buddhist if I didn't go to Hawaii. Even though we say, oh, Taiwan, well, Buddhism is so blossoming, right? But it's too close. And when I was in Hawaii and also my karma, I met my teacher, and my teacher was inescapable because she was able to answer my question. When I asked her, she asked me, oh, can you eat vegetarian? I said, oh, everything, anything. So lunch, you stay with us. So I ate vegetarian. Do you want to watch cartoon? Yes. So she played the Buddha story, cartoon, the Japanese cartoon. I said, oh, very good story. I really appreciate what the Buddha has done, right? And then she said, do you want to hear 讲经? I said, oh, what's that? So it's just the lectures. Hear that? She gave me Venerable Jing Kong, old time. It says, Buddhism is not religion. Buddhism is science. Buddhism is education for life. Oh, okay. I watched that, right? So, nothing superstitious. And then she asked me, do you want to join us for the evening chanting? What's that? Oh, like you're a student, you do your homework. It's a homework for us monastics. You want to join us for homework? That's how skillful she was. So I joined the homework, right? Her homework. 2 nuns chanting. That was the most beautiful chanting I've ever heard. Back in Taiwan, I heard those loudspeakers, brum, 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 very bombarding. And yet the 2 nuns, like very pure, 如是我闻, and then, like very melodious, very simple chanting. Oh, beautiful. And then she asked me, this weekend, we have a 八关斋戒, 8 precept, right? 八关斋戒. I said, what's that? Oh, it's that you come and experience 1 day, 1 night as a renunciant, as a monastic life. I said, oh, sounds interesting. Only that you don't eat after lunch, right? And also, you have to sleep on the temple floor and no speech throughout. I said, oh, good. Then I can rest. So I joined. And in the morning, when we were like 舍戒, about to let go of the precept, she said, oh, today, there's some followers who want to take refuge. If I were in some church, back in Taiwan, the moment they say they were baptized, I 脚底抹油, gone, right? I escaped. But then I said, what is taking refuge? She said, oh, it's because you think the Buddha is such a great teacher. You want to be a student of his. Oh, nothing hard that I can do. I'm happy to take refuge. That's how I became a Buddhist in the first place. So I became a Buddhist, but I became a distant Buddhist to the temple because I was so busy with other things in my life. Even, I mentioned to William just now, I was given by my Shifu to go help Tzu Chi to start a Chinese school for Tzu Chi. She was very open-minded. She didn't mind. And I didn't become a big donor to fund the temple, the home temple or anything. But I am repaying, I'm repaying in my own way I'm contributing, I'm volunteering in my own way too. So I think I really truly believe that, again, coming back to believe, when a seed is planted with the right causes and conditions, it will grow. And it might not grow exactly the way you like or you expect, not necessarily, but your merit is there for sure. And, causes and conditions will continue. That's how I can share with you. I don't have a resolution, but I'm happy to, contribute in any way to help with that. Yeah, condition. Exactly what I'm doing now too. You have Sister Chris? Yeah, sharing her experience. Yes.
Yeah. I got into Buddhism is when I was young, I was exposed to Taoism,
yes,
and also Buddhism,
right,
still from my family,
right.
And I believe that to propagate this Buddhism itself,
right,
you need to share and guide. Because when I was young, I was always told by my grandma to chant Lotus Sutra. Okay,
yeah.
But I hate it a lot.
Right.
In beginning, I was hate it a lot, and because you have to do them
right,
in the morning and the night, so I have to chant every day. I start to, if my grandmother is not watching, I'll just skip passages and all that.
Yeah.
So every day I was told to do this, and this is like being forced to me.
Yeah.
But I always, when I grow older, I discover something that people, although you do it daily, but you don't feel anything.
Right.
But when you have problem,
right,
that is the time where you look inside.
right.
You look inside, and then you think that you are, because you are desperate, you need something to hold on to.
Right.
So you start to seriously thinking, oh, what can I help? What can help me? Then the Buddhism practice came to me, and then one day I just sit down and really, really chant.
Right. And that's exactly the experience you can share with the youngsters, the younger generation.
Yes.
Yeah, we also went through that, a period of time, rebelling, right? And I think the young people will appreciate such experience sharing. In my experience too, when you share the difficulty you went through, not always the glorious part, or you try to impose anything on them, right?
Yes. And
yeah. Oh, okay. So we can work on that afterwards. I will, show you how. Okay, I'll show you how. Okay, I'll come back to you because it's 1:00 now. Very quickly, yeah, yes.
Lifestyle and things like that.
Bhutan, yes.
Okay, and between Bhutan and Tibet,
yes.
Let's put it that way. During the burial of some Rinpoches in Tibet, they are being brought over to some high mountains near I would say, sacred lake, where the bodies are actually eaten by vultures.
Can you put it closer?
The bodies of the Rinpoche are being eaten by vultures.
Yeah.
But what about Bhutan? What kind of
you're talking about a sky burial?
Oh, yes.
Oh, the sky burial. I got you. I didn't see that practice in Bhutan, at least not that I have heard in Bhutan. Yeah, sometimes, again, a lot of times it's the cultural thing, right? Even if they follow the Zen Buddhist tradition, there are cultural differences because of the geographical distance. It's only natural. They may resort to practicing in different ways eventually. Yeah. But of course, we all share, like I say, all the 3 yanas. We all have that core, that essence, right? So it's 1:00. Our time flies very quickly. And once again, I want to thank you all for your very compassionate presence, your very compassionate listening and sharing. And I want to thank our 功德主, our merit holder. I want to thank our Bodhisattva brother William for this opportunity to for us to all be here together. Very meaningful discussions, I believe we have had. And eventually, as part of the ritual, we always have the 功德回向, right? Dedication. And I want, I have started a new and slightly new, but following the tradition ritual. We would chant Gade Gade Pala Gade Pala Sam Gade Bodhisvaha. That's the mantra, heart mantra of the Heart Sutra, which says, if in English, too easy to understand. Go, let's all go to the other shore together. That's the spirit of Mahayana. Right? We don't just go alone, we go together. So Master Xuanzang chose not to translate it, keeping that in that form. So I want to invite Frank. Can we have the other microphone to do this chanting in Sanskrit to close our session? And the melody came from a sister in Taiwan. She is a great meditator. She chanted and then she downloaded that in the New Age language. She downloaded that melody. Very interestingly, in the Chinese way, which the music, doesn't have the fa and xi, only 5 tones. Okay, so it sounds very ancient too. Okay, and so I will start the first chant. Very easy to follow. I do the first chant. Frank will join the second part, and the third part, I want you all to join. All right? Gade, gade, para, gade, pala, sam, gade, bodhisoha. Gade, gade, para, gade, parasam, gade, bodhisoha. Gade, gade, para, gade, palasam, gade, bodhisoha. Gade, gade, para, gade, parasam, gade, bodhisoha. Please join. Gade, gade, para, gade, parasam, gade, bodhisoha. Gade, gade, para, gade, parasam, gade, bodhisoha. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from suffering. Thank you.
我解释一下，刚才你有解释《心经》是这个
到彼岸。
对，我们不是这是大乘玛哈亚那 Buddhism 的最重要的、最短的这个经典。那每一个经典它后面有个核心咒语，所以我想大家会去看就知道。只是说，在玄奘翻译的时候，因为中国的体系都是影像的字，它没有拼音法，所以你看都是大的字，就不知道它的核心的这个拼音法是这样。
It's purposely made to be mysterious, ritualized. Okay, so basically that's how it works.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.